Joining us now is Keith Powell, publisher at Kookanusa Publications here in Cranbrook, and also an author. Keith, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, James. Appreciate it.
And we're here to talk about your latest book, your third book, Peak Chronicles, and actually the second book you've released with Fisher Peak in the name. You must really like that mountain.
Yes, I have a connection to that mountain like a lot of people in the area. So Fisher Peak has got a lot of history. I just thought it's a good combination, some history and some contemporary stories as well.
Yeah, you mentioned the stories. The book is full of cool little stories from folks all over the place. What was it like compiling all of these? How much fun was that?
That was great. The research of the book was just a blast because it allowed me really to go and see if I could find as many of these stories as I could. And some of the stories go right back into, I think, 1900 and even earlier than that.
This mountain, it holds a special place in a lot of people's hearts around here, but is it known outside of Cranbrook, outside of the Kootenays?
Well, there's a couple chapters in the book, James, that has to do with the actual logbook that is kept at the top, and I've recorded some of the comments that people have made. And I looked through those the other day, and I was just trying to figure out where people were coming from. England, Ireland, Vancouver, Ottawa, it just seemed like from all over. Of course, the majority are from Cranbrook and Kimberley, but I think a lot of people take their friends with them.
Would you say that for people in the East Kootenays, I guess more specifically in Cranbrook, climbing that mountain is like a rite of passage?
Oh, definitely. It's one of those things that you sort of have to do. It's a rite of passage. It's on your list, and it just allows you to maybe identify with your friends because a whole lot of them have probably climbed the mountain.
How long did it take you to compile this latest book?
I'll tell you, the book started just after I wrote my first book, which was Living in the Shadow of Fisher Peak. There was a lady that read the book, came in with some historical photos, and she said, "These are my relatives." She was the first woman to climb Mount Fisher, and I just got to thinking, this is really interesting.
Was there anything that you discovered that you didn't know about the history of the mountain?
Well, almost every story has its own unique bent to it. Some of my favorite stories, I just love the story about the 5 women from Kimberley that climbed it in 1966. Their story was written up. It appeared on the front of Star Weekly magazine, which was the largest magazine in Canada at the time. And so here's this sort of iconic mountain that we know about here in Cranbrook and the Kootenays and Kimberley appearing on the front of this national magazine. And I just thought it was really a neat story.
And if people want to get their hands on a copy of this book, where can they get it from?
Well, it is available at local bookstores like Lotus, where we are today, and Coles Bookstore as well.
All right, well, definitely a great read, worth the time. Thanks for joining us on Go Kootenays, Keith.
Thanks for your interest, James.